Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, Barbara Creecy, has announced government's intention to shorten the timeframes for solar power projects. This will be done by making changes to the environmental assessment process. We now talk to the Minister about what this means and the road ahead for alternate energy sources. And of course, it's great to have you, Minister. Thank you so much for your time. In light of the country's energy crisis, you now wish to fast-track the assessment process for solar energy. What has been the hold-up?
Good morning and greetings to all your viewers at home, and thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, I think that there has been frustration with delays related to environmental impact assessments that are very necessary for all development projects to make sure that we move forward with development in a sustainable manner. And over the last 3 years, we have introduced the renewable energy zones. In those zones, we have reduced timeframes from 300 days to 147 days. We've also introduced the gas corridors, where there's been a similar reduction in the time taken for environmental impact assessments. What we're now looking at, and we've put it out for public comment, is to suggest that in areas of low and medium sensitivity, there is not a need for a full environmental impact assessment, and instead there would be a walkthrough by a qualified environmental practitioner to assess whether this area is indeed of low or medium sensitivity. And we then think that if that is verified, it would then be possible to do the process within a time frame of 60 days.
All right, Minister, I'm keen on finding out, how do you plan on ensuring the goal of reducing the registration process from 300 to 60 days? Is it doable?
I think it is doable. As I say, in the renewable energy corridors and in the gas pipeline corridors, we've already reduced from 300 to 147 days. With this, as I'm explaining, a developer would need to get an environmental practitioner to do a walkthrough on the site. We're also gazetting a tool that identifies throughout the country areas of low and medium sensitivity, and developers would be able to use this tool so that they can place their developments in areas of low and medium sensitivity. We've already managed to ensure that for certain transmission projects, there would not be a need for a full environmental assessment. So we are looking in the energy space, where we understand that there are a lot of frustrations with delays and there's a tremendous public requirement for additional energy, that we should streamline processes.
So, Minister, earlier in the week, you hosted a national stakeholder engagement with other suggestions that have been put on the table. And what are some of the concerns from the renewable energy stakeholders? Well,
I think that first of all, people want to understand exactly what the walkthrough means. I think that there were also concerns for other energy sectors that they would also like an opportunity for reduced timeframes, and we have committed to looking at that. One of the sectors where there is frustration with timeframes is the wind energy sector. This is an area where there is a requirement for a year-long study into the impact on bats and birds. And I think that listening to the frustration, we would want to look at what we could do to facilitate. Obviously, we are very concerned about the impact of all development on biodiversity, but I think the key issue is, how do you balance the developmental needs and the biodiversity needs of our country and find a win-win solution for both parties?
Minister, so is this an attainable, future, or is it something that is doable as you've mentioned? Are you hopeful?
Yes, it's out for public comment. Obviously, everybody will, part of the reason we had the stakeholder meeting earlier in the week is so that we ensure that by the middle of August, when we gazette both the environmental tool, identifying areas of low to high environmental sensitivity, and also this plan to delist solar PV projects, everybody should be ready with their public comments. And of course, we will be, as we always do, factoring those in before we take final decisions.
Barbara Creecy is Minister of Environment as well as Forestry and Fisheries. Thank you very much indeed for your time.